The door crashed against the frame, sending tremors through the very walls, and then, like thunder in a clear sky, came the words I never imagined would pierce the air. "This place no longer belongs to you." I stood there, paralyzed by the weight of the moment. My son, David, my sole offspring, had just hurled those words at me with the ferocity of a tempest, as if I were nothing more than a mere stranger plucked from the street. Bianca loomed behind him, arms crossed, her eyes blazing with judgment, as if she had been biding her time for this very confrontation, the air thick with unspoken tension. "But I purchased this house with my hard-earned fortune, my life savings," I exclaimed, my voice trembling with disbelief. "Every single penny I ever possessed was sacrificed for this house, a monument to my dreams and despair, for you. A gift, wrapped in mystery. A token of devotion that trembles with unspoken words and hidden desires. For your dream. A whisper of hope, a flicker of desire, a tempest of ambition that stirs the very soul." David averted his gaze, a flush of shame creeping over him, yet Bianca stood her ground, unyielding and unperturbed. "A gift!" she exclaimed, her voice laced with disbelief and fury. "You delivered it. Gifts. Oh, they don't come with strings, do they? Or do they?" The weight of expectation lurks beneath the surface, a silent spectre haunting the act of giving. What lies beneath the shiny wrapping? A question that echoes in the shadows, waiting to unravel the truth. It was as if a thunderous blow had struck me, leaving me reeling in disbelief. The hallway behind them loomed, a haunting gallery of my past, where every family photo I had lovingly framed whispered secrets of joy. The antique table from my mother stood as a relic of warmth, and the couch, oh, that couch, where David once surrendered to slumber during his college days, now felt like a ghost of what once was. Now, it all felt like a haunting echo, fading into the shadows of memory, as if I had vanished into thin air. I gazed down at my trembling hands, the weight of the world pressing upon me. They stood there, quaking in fear, as the weight of the moment pressed down upon them. My knees trembled, as if the very ground beneath me had turned to quicksand. Desperation clawed at my insides as I grasped the wall, my only anchor in a world teetering on the edge of chaos, fighting against the abyss that threatened to swallow me whole. Only 3 years past, this house existed solely in the realm of dreams. In the depths of night, David found himself ensnared in a whirlwind of visions, each more haunting than the last. Shadows danced around him, whispering secrets of despair and hope, intertwining in a chaotic ballet that threatened to consume him whole. The weight of his aspirations pressed down like a heavy shroud, leaving him gasping for breath in a world where dreams and nightmares collided with ferocious intensity. What lay ahead was uncertain, but the fire of his ambition burned brighter than ever, illuminating the dark corners of his restless mind, and I brought it to life, against all odds. But now he loomed before me, his voice slicing through the silence like a winter wind, declaring that I was no longer welcome in this place. And what could possibly be worse? He was consumed by the belief. Just as the words hung in the air, heavy with anticipation, Bianca surged ahead, her hand outstretched toward the door, a silent storm brewing within her. "Get out! Now! Tonight!" The air crackles with anticipation as guests prepare to arrive, shrouded in mystery and intrigue. I fixed my gaze upon them, fighting against the burning sensation threatening to spill from my eyes. Who dares to enter this realm of uncertainty? Guests? Here? The air thickens with anticipation, as shadows dance and secrets whisper in the corners of the room. What could they possibly want? The plot thickens. Indeed, figures of great significance. "Investors," she declared, a smirk dancing on her lips, as if the very word held a secret too tantalizing to resist. "We are unveiling the house, a bold declaration of our brand's identity. It must exude an air of professionalism, a facade that commands respect and admiration. Pristine, not in the slightest." She halted, her gaze sweeping over me with an intensity that pierced through the air. Not like a woman ensnared in the clutches of her own past, unable to break free. With a resounding thud, she slammed the door, the echo reverberating through the silence like a thunderclap, sealing away the chaos that lingered behind her. I stood outside, the weight of the world pressing down on my shoulders, the air thick with tension and unspoken words, isolated in the depths of despair. Alone, surrounded by the haunting whispers of the wind. In a moment of sheer chaos, I found myself utterly unprepared, adrift in a sea of uncertainty. There is no backup, and nowhere to escape the suffocating darkness. All that remained was the harrowing tale of my journey to this very moment. And thus, the tale began, long before Bianca's shadow graced our existence. 3 years ago, a time shrouded in shadows and secrets. David's heart raced with a burning desire to become a designer, a dream that consumed him like a wildfire, igniting every fibre of his being. Not mere garments. Absolutely not. His heart was set on crafting homes, a vision that burned fiercely within him. Spaces that twist and turn the very fabric of human emotion, he would declare with fervour. For hours I would be entranced, hanging on his every word as he passionately unravelled the mysteries of open floor plans, the dance of lighting angles, and the enchanting allure of mood boards. His heart burned with an unquenchable fire of passion. Flames danced wildly, consuming everything in their path, a fierce inferno that roared with unrelenting fury, yet not a single coin to be found. So, when he approached me, his eyes ablaze with an intensity that could ignite the very air around us, his voice trembling with a fervent hope, he declared, "Mum, I found it. The house that will become the stage for my grand debut. A project that promises to unveil secrets and ignite passions like never before." I plunged forward without a moment's pause. "What is the amount you crave?" I demanded. He smiled, a flicker of shyness dancing across his face, as if the world held its breath in that fleeting moment. So much hangs in the balance. In a whirlwind of desperation, I parted ways with my car, stripped my retirement account bare, and plunged into the abyss of a second mortgage on the modest apartment that had once been my lifeline of extra income. I poured my soul into him, laying bare every piece of my heart, every secret, every dream. I sacrificed it all, and yet, was it enough? Every single last one penny. The name echoes through the silence, a haunting whisper that stirs the very air around us. What secrets lie behind those syllables? What fate awaits? The tension thickens, and the world holds its breath, waiting for the next act to unfold. "Let's do this," I declared. A smile plastered on my face, masking the terror that clawed at my insides. "You transform it into a breathtaking masterpiece." And he did. Oh, how he did. The air crackled with tension, the moment hanging like a fragile thread, ready to snap at any second. The world held its breath, waiting for the inevitable. And then, with a heart-stopping finality, he did. In the beginning, the house, once a mere structure, now stood as a haunting spectre of its former self, cloaked in shadows and secrets, whispering tales of despair and longing. It had undergone a metamorphosis, each creak of the floorboards echoing the drama of its past, as if the very walls were alive, bearing witness to the turmoil. What was once a neglected relic, cloaked in dust and despair on the outskirts of town, has transformed into a breathtaking spectacle, as if plucked straight from the pages of a glossy magazine. Lofty ceilings that stretch towards the heavens. Skylights. A breathtaking expanse above, where dreams collide with reality, casting shadows of wonder and despair. The light dances, teasing the edges of existence, revealing secrets hidden in the vastness of the sky. What lies beyond? A world of possibilities, or a haunting abyss? The drama unfolds with every glance upward. Suspended in mid-air, the staircase defies gravity, an architectural marvel that beckons with an air of mystery and allure. A house born from the depths of desire, where dreams collide with reality in a breathtaking spectacle. Whispers began to ripple through the crowd, eyes widening in disbelief as the truth clawed its way into the light. Several local magazines have cast their spotlight upon him, unveiling the enigma that surrounds his existence. Like vultures drawn to the scent of decay, investors began to circle, their eyes glinting with anticipation and hunger. And then, like a tempest breaking through the calm, Bianca stormed into the scene, her presence igniting a whirlwind of chaos and intrigue. She was a vision of beauty, a beacon of intelligence, and possessed an uncanny ability to utter the perfect words at the most crucial moments. In the beginning, she captivated me. I yearned to embrace her essence, to find the spark that would ignite my admiration. David was consumed by an all-encompassing love for her, a love that ignited his very soul and left him breathless in its wake. And that was the moment that shattered everything for me. But oh, so slowly, she shattered the status quo. With fervent passion, she urged David to embark on a daring journey of rebranding, igniting a fire within him that could not be extinguished. To elevate the appearance to a level of undeniable sophistication, she declared, with a voice dripping in disdain, that I had turned our home into a chaotic mess, that my very existence cast a shadow of antiquity over every corner of our once vibrant sanctuary. Invitations began to dwindle, slipping through my fingers like sand, leaving me in a haunting silence of exclusion. Scarcity of dinners looms ominously. In a cruel twist of fate, I found myself banished from the very heart of our home, the living room, a place once filled with laughter and warmth, now a forbidden realm whenever David entertained his guests. She's merely striving to lift him to greatness, I whispered to myself, battling the tempest of doubt within. Yet, in the shadowy recesses of my mind, a truth simmered, undeniable and haunting. I was being obliterated, my very existence slipping through the cracks of reality like sand through desperate fingers. One haunting photo, one solitary piece of furniture, a lone sentinel in the vast expanse of emptiness, emerges from the shadows, each arrival a dramatic revelation in the unfolding saga of a space yet to be defined. One fateful night, I caught their hushed voices weaving through the shadows of the kitchen. "She still believes this is her house," Bianca declared, her voice laced with disbelief. "She helped." "Oh yes," David murmured in a hushed tone, the weight of the world hanging in the air. "Yet, we crafted this masterpiece. We ascended to unprecedented heights, a daring leap into the unknown. She'll understand eventually," Bianca declared, her voice trembling with a mix of certainty and dread. Sleep eluded me that night, a haunting spectre lurking just beyond my grasp. Yet, I stood there, paralyzed by the weight of silence, refusing to face them. Instead, I found myself drawn into the unfolding spectacle, my eyes wide with anticipation. And thus, I plunged into the depths of preparation. For in the depths of Bianca's voice, a haunting revelation echoed, a truth that clawed at the very fabric of my being. They were plotting to cast me aside, to erase my very existence from their twisted game. They conspired to obliterate my very existence. And so it was, on that fateful morning, when Bianca confronted me, her voice a thunderclap in the stillness, declaring, "You are no longer welcome here." Yet, in the midst of their grand design, they had committed a grave error. They thought they could dismiss me. But oh, how wrong they were. Little did they know the dark secret I harboured on that fateful day when I completed the final payment for the house. Little did they realise, the one document I held was a ticking time bomb poised to shatter their world, the solitary thread I had yet to sever, the singular secret I was poised to unleash, a weapon to reclaim it all. I stood outside their home, my home with my heart pounding like a war drum and my head spinning in a whirlwind of chaos. The wind howled like a banshee, tearing at my coat as I trudged down the driveway, each step heavy with foreboding. Beyond the roses, those delicate blooms I nurtured with David when he was merely 12, lies a haunting memory that lingers in the air, heavy with the weight of time and unspoken words. Beyond the mailbox, its once proud letters now faded and chipped, lay my last name a ghost of what once was. Bianca had uttered it with a chilling nonchalance, as if the weight of her words held no consequence. "Leave this place. You are no longer welcome here. Not now. Not ever." It barely grazed me, a mere whisper of pain when it should have been a tempest of agony. For I had foreseen the inevitable, the dark clouds gathering on the horizon, a storm brewing that could not be ignored. With a deliberate and haunting grace, she began to nudge me away, each movement steeped in an unsettling finality. How David relinquished control, a moment steeped in tension and unspoken words. But I was not merely a shadow of a bygone era, an invisible relic lost to time, and I would not fade into the shadows without a fight. That day, I barely ventured beyond the confines of familiarity. I embarked on a lengthy journey, not to find solace, but to unleash the tempest brewing within my soul. My legs propelled me toward the small cafe on the corner, the very place where I once shared laughter and secrets with David after school, a haunting echo of our past lingering in the air. I found myself at a dimly lit table in the shadows, ordering a tea that remained untouched, a silent witness to the turmoil brewing within me. With trembling hands, I plunged into the depths of my purse, my heart racing as I unearthed the weathered brown envelope that had haunted me for months. Within those walls lay the unspeakable act, the grand proclamation of ownership to the estate, the true title, shrouded in mystery and intrigue. It lingered, a haunting reminder, still bound to my name. Indeed, I had revealed to David that the house was a gift, a revelation that hung in the air like a thunderclap, shattering the silence of our unspoken truths. But alas, the transfer paperwork remained untouched, a silent testament to my indecision. Every single thing was paid for by me. The land, the toil, the very essence of creation itself. With trembling hands, I inscribed my name on each and every document, sealing my fate in ink. In the midst of David's grand design decisions, it was I who held the pen, signing the checks that would seal our fate. In a moment of reckless abandon, I relinquished the reins of creativity into his hands. But what of the legal side? That was taken from me. Not because I lacked faith in him. Yet, a faint whisper echoed from the depths of my soul, urging me to cling on, just in case the storm unleashed its fury. It was a day etched in my memory. The moment I slipped that envelope into its secret hiding place, a decision that would change everything. On that fateful day, Bianca strode into the kitchen, her gaze landing on my ancient ceramic cookie jar perched on the counter. With a voice barely above a whisper, yet sharp enough to cut through the air, she declared, "This place would feel so much cleaner, without all this old stuff." The words hung heavy, a chilling omen of the upheaval to come. Her lips curled into a smile, a haunting contrast to the weight of her words. Yet, that smile held no kindness. It was a smile laced with menace, a silent declaration that you were nothing more than an obstacle in their path. That fateful night, I grasped the deed from the depths of my file cabinet, my heart racing as I slid it into the ominous brown envelope. With trembling hands, I slipped it between the fragile pages of the ancient cookbook, a relic from the past, gifted by David when he was just a boy of 16. The weight of the moment hung heavy in the air, a secret sealed within the whispers of time. It was the singular secret I had guarded with my very soul, the one truth I had never dared to reveal to him. Now, in that dimly lit cafe, I found myself transfixed, my gaze locked onto the papers before me, each one a harbinger of secrets waiting to be unveiled. With a single step into the courthouse, a mere stroke of a pen, and the swift motion of a filing, I could reclaim everything that was lost. The weight of the world hangs in the balance, teetering on the edge of that momentous decision. Yet, revenge was the last thing on my mind. Not yet. The tension hangs thick in the air, a palpable silence that screams for resolution. I craved the raw, unfiltered truth, a revelation that would shatter the very fabric of my existence. How on earth did it spiral into this chaos? How did the innocent boy, who sought refuge in my bed during the tempest's fury, the tender soul who crafted heartfelt poems for Mother's Day, transform into the man who so coldly slammed the door in my face? In the dead of night, I found myself trapped within the grimy walls of a cheap motel, hidden away in a forsaken corner of town. The bed groaned under the weight of despair, the ceiling wept in silent agony, and I lay wide awake, haunted by the shadows of the night. Instead, I found myself consumed by the haunting echoes of every moment that had spiraled into that fateful door slam. And as the memories flooded back, the pieces began to snap together, with a jarring clarity. In a moment suspended in time, the past crashes into the present, a haunting reminder of choices made and paths taken. Shadows dance as memories flicker, each one a dagger to the heart, each one a whisper of what once was. The air thickens with tension, and the weight of regret hangs heavy, begging to be unleashed. The stage is set for a revelation that could shatter everything. 2 years ago, David stood amidst the chaos, the dust settling from the major renovations that had consumed his life. The house stood there, a breathtaking marvel, its beauty almost too much to bear. He orchestrated a grand reveal party, a spectacle that drew dozens into its magnetic pull, some hailing from the elite realms of real estate, others from the creative heart of local design firms. That fateful night, he stepped into the spotlight, declaring himself the mastermind, orchestrating the grand vision of the project. I lingered in the shadows, clad in my unassuming dress, a swell of pride swelling within me, until he emerged, a real estate agent, cutting through the crowd in his sharp blue suit, his presence electrifying the air around us. "Are you the one who holds the key to fortune?" he demanded, his voice trembling with urgency. I smiled, a flicker of light in the shadowy abyss of uncertainty. Alas, it is only the mother. His eyebrows shot up in disbelief, a silent gasp echoing in the charged air. In a twist of fate, David revealed the shocking truth. A silent partner had poured their fortune into the entire project, shrouded in mystery and intrigue. I blinked, my heart racing as the world around me shifted in an instant. A partner cloaked in silence. "Yes," he declared, "an anonymous donor, enigmatic and shrouded in shadows. A veil of uncertainty lingers in the air." That fateful night, I confronted David about it, the air thick with tension and unspoken truths. "Why, oh why, did you dare to whisper to the world about your elusive silent partner?" He let out a hollow laugh, dismissing it as if it were nothing, but the tension in the air crackled with unspoken truths. "It elevates the narrative to a whole new level, Mum. Let the shadows keep your secret. No soul must ever uncover your truth." Investors recoil at the mere mention of designers propped up by maternal wallets, their disdain palpable in the air. It pierced my heart, yet I released it into the void, for in those days I clung to the illusion that he was my guardian, that I remained the unwavering support he relied upon. Little did I know, he was already plotting my erasure. Returning to the present moment, where the air crackles with tension and the weight of unspoken truths looms large. The dawn broke, and with it, I summoned the audacity to act in a way that would leave the world gasping. I slipped back into the house, but not through the front door. Oh no. In the shadows of our shared past, I clutched the spare key, a secret David remained blissfully unaware of. It lay hidden, taped behind the backyard planter, a silent witness to the day we first stepped into this house together. I stood there, heart racing, as I watched their car emerge from the shadows, David and Bianca embarking on yet another lavish investor brunch, oblivious to the storm brewing in the depths of my mind. Then, with a heart pounding like a drum, I slipped inside. It was as if I had stepped into the very heart of another's existence, a world not my own, pulsating with untold stories and hidden secrets. The walls stood stark and desolate, stripped of all adornment, echoing the silence of forgotten memories. My paintings had vanished into thin air, leaving nothing but a haunting void in their wake. All that remains are the echoes of memories, the photos I once cherished: David's first school play, his graduation, that joyous moment of laughter in the snow now vanished into the abyss, transformed into a stark realm of minimalist art, where shadows dance upon the walls and black and white prints of architecture loom like silent sentinels, whispering tales of a bygone era. In the kitchen, an intoxicating aroma lingered, a heady blend of opulence that whispered of expensive candles, drowning out all else in its luxurious embrace. But I was not present to drown in sorrow. I stood on the precipice of revelation, driven by an insatiable need to uncover the truth, to unearth the evidence that lay hidden in the shadows. I stormed into the home office, or rather, the remnants of what was once my sacred knitting sanctuary. Bianca had transformed it into her very own battleground of creativity. And there, hidden within the confines of a locked cabinet drawer, I stumbled upon something that sent a chill racing through my veins, leaving my stomach in knots. A folder ominously titled Merger Planning Property as Asset Looms in the Shadows. Within those walls lay a trove of secrets, documents whispering untold stories, emails pulsating with urgency, spreadsheets brimming with hidden truths, and a draft proposal that could change everything. David and Bianca were not merely residing within the walls of my home. They were wielding it as a pawn in a high-stakes game, a multi-million-dollar business deal hanging in the balance. In a bold move, they declared the property as their most prized possession, the very heart of their empire. One email from Bianca pierced through the silence. Once the merger clears, we can move the title to our name without raising suspicion. The tension hung thick in the air, a dangerous game unfolding in the shadows. Once, the original owner roamed these halls, but now they have vanished into the shadows, leaving behind a haunting silence. Since the first footsteps echoed through this space, no challenge has arisen, no contest to claim what was once theirs. 3 days ago, the ink dried on a revelation that would change everything. And that, my friend, is the very reason they cast me aside, banished from their midst. It was never merely about the chaos, the aesthetics, or the act of release. It was a desperate race against time, a frantic attempt to conceal my very existence before the deal sealed our fates. I found myself frozen in that office, my hands trembling uncontrollably. I was shattered, a mere echo of my former self. Fury coursed through my veins, a tempest of emotions ready to erupt. They didn't merely exploit my love. They conspired to obliterate my very being, all for the sake of greed. I slipped out of the house, the door clicking shut with a finality that echoed in the stillness. As I stepped into the night, a surge of defiance coursed through me, compelling me to do something I hadn't dared in years. I reached for the phone, my heart racing as I dialed my lawyer's number, the weight of the world pressing down on me. Later that week, a name echoed through the corridors of my mind, Mr. Kirsch. An old friend from the days when I toiled at the county office, his presence loomed like a spectre from the past. He had been my guiding light, the one who helped me seal the deal on the house 3 years prior. With a voice that echoed with sincerity, he had always declared, "If you ever need me again, don't hesitate." Little did I know how those words would haunt me in the shadows of uncertainty. He sat there, a silent sentinel, absorbing every word I uttered, his gaze unwavering as I laid bare the tumult of my thoughts, unravelling the chaos of my mind without a single inquiry to pierce the heavy air between us. As the final curtain fell on my tale, he uttered a single haunting word. Deception lurks in the shadows, a sinister game of betrayal and lies. What? They are weaving a web of deceit, Diane. The property is yours, a claim of undeniable power and possession. How could you? You never transferred the deed. They have brazenly exploited that property as a business asset, all without your consent. That's not merely wrong, it's a flagrant violation of the law. I sat in a suffocating silence, the weight of unspoken words hanging heavy in the air. And at last, I found the courage to ask, "What am I supposed to do now?" He leaned forward, a tension crackling in the air, as if the very fabric of reality held its breath in anticipation. You bring forth the undeniable truth of your identity, leaving no room for doubt or hesitation. In the stillness of that fateful night, I found myself pouring my soul into a letter, each keystroke echoing the weight of unspoken words. It was a facade of calm, a veneer of professionalism, yet beneath the surface, clarity pierced through like a dagger in the night. With a voice trembling with revelation, I confronted David, declaring that I was fully aware of the merger's looming shadow. I declared, with a voice trembling with conviction, that I possessed the legal claim to the home and every single piece of property entwined with it. With a fierce determination, I declared my demand for a response within 48 hours, and then, with unwavering resolve, I took matters into my own hands and delivered it myself. With a heart pounding like a drum, I chose not to knock on the door. Instead, I stealthily slipped the letter into their opulent brass mailbox, a silent act of defiance, and then I turned and walked away, the weight of my decision heavy in the air. But this time, I stood unyielding, a fortress against the storm. A surge of power coursed through me, for the game had shifted dramatically, and at long last, after years of struggle, I clutched the winning card in my trembling hands. 2 days slipped away, shrouded in an eerie silence. 48 agonizing hours of suffocating silence. Not a whisper escaped David's lips. Silence. No call. The air thick with anticipation, yet nothing breaks the stillness. No message. Silence. An abyss of emptiness. The void looms, heavy and oppressive, as if the very air has conspired to steal away all sound, all life. Nothing. A chilling whisper that echoes through the darkness, leaving only the haunting spectre of absence in its wake. On that fateful first day, I lingered by the phone, heart racing, like a lovesick schoolgirl yearning for her crush to finally ring. With each insistent buzz, my heart raced, and I leaped as if a thunderclap had shattered the silence. With every jarring ping of a spam text or the ominous chime of a bank alert, a primal scream clawed at my throat, begging for release. On the second day, I could bear it no longer. I ceased my vigil. In a twist of fate, I found myself in the kitchen, wielding flour and sugar like a sorcerer conjuring spells. Instead, I baked. Indeed, it has been baked. Oh, the tantalizing allure of muffins, the crisp embrace of biscuits, and the sweet, decadent promise of a loaf of banana bread. What a feast awaits. It was never merely about the act of eating. It was a desperate quest to anchor myself in the comforting embrace of the familiar. In a world teetering on the brink of despair, a glimmer of solace emerges, a beacon of warmth amidst the chaos. Once, in the depths of his heart, there lay a passion that consumed David entirely. He perched on the counter, a boy with wide eyes, as I stirred the batter, his voice cutting through the air. "Mum, is this for me?" Alone in the kitchen, I stood, the oven's heat wrapping around me like a suffocating embrace. My phone lay face down, a silent witness to my indifference, its potential calls fading into the background of my solitary chaos. At least, that's the lie I whispered to myself in the shadows of despair. But at precisely 7:08 p.m. on that fateful second day, 1 hour beyond the ultimatum I had set, my phone erupted into a cacophony of sound. It was David. The name echoed through the air like a thunderclap, sending shivers down spines and igniting a whirlwind of emotions. Who could have anticipated this revelation? The tension hung thick, palpable, as the truth unraveled before their very eyes. In that moment, I let the phone ring, the silence stretching like a taut string ready to snap. I chose not to answer, a decision heavy with unspoken words and unresolved tension. The phone rang, echoing through the silence, but I chose to let it ring, a defiant act against the chaos waiting on the other end. Then, with bated breath, I pressed play on the voicemail, my heart racing as the words unfolded like a dark secret waiting to be revealed. His voice trembled, quaking with an intensity that pierced the silence. "Mum, we stand at the precipice of revelation, our hearts pounding with the weight of unspoken truths. We must converse now, before the storm brews any further. Will you grace the house with your presence tomorrow morning? Oh, please, just. Only you. Absolutely no lawyers." He halted, a heavy silence enveloping the air, as if the world itself held its breath in anticipation. "By all means, I implore you." Then, in a moment that shattered the silence, he hung up. Silence reigns, a void where remorse should dwell. Just. "Please." I gazed at my phone, the silence heavy with unspoken words, a storm brewing in the depths of my mind. The banana bread lingered in haunting silence, abandoned on the counter, a tragic testament to neglect. The dawn broke with a heavy heart, sleep eluding me like a ghost in the shadows. I stepped into the unknown, uncertainty wrapping around me like a shroud, each step echoing with the weight of what lay ahead. But I arrived, defying all odds. Identical house, unchanging driveway. At this moment, it was not I who clung desperately to the echoes of the past. They clung desperately to a web of deceit, each thread tightening around their throats, suffocating the truth that lay just beneath the surface. And there it was, the truth. A revelation that shattered the silence, echoing through the very fabric of existence. With a trembling hand, Bianca swung open the door, her heart racing as the weight of the moment hung thick in the air. Her eyes widened in disbelief as she beheld my unexpected tranquility. She anticipated my arrival, perhaps with a cacophony of screams echoing through the air, a lawyer looming ominously in my wake. In that moment, I merely offered a smile, a facade masking the tempest within. "Is David here?" With a deliberate grace, she stepped aside, the air thick with tension. "He lurks in the shadows of the study." I strode through the living room, that chilling, picture-perfect realm where echoes of my family's laughter once danced in the air. My shoes echoed ominously on the polished floor, each step a thunderous proclamation of my presence. David sat at the desk, a storm of thoughts swirling in his mind, each one more tumultuous than the last. His eyes burned with a fiery crimson, a haunting testament to the turmoil within. Exhausted, as if the weight of the world rests upon weary shoulders. As his eyes locked onto mine, he rose to his feet, a sudden tension crackling in the air. "Mother." I lifted my hand, a silent plea suspended in the air, a moment thick with tension. No hugs. The air thickens with unspoken tension, a chasm of distance where warmth once thrived. Silence reigns, heavy and suffocating, as hearts ache for connection, yet remain locked in a fierce battle of pride. The absence of embrace echoes louder than any words could convey, a haunting reminder of what once was and what can never be again. "Mother, I implore you to lend me your ear. There is a tale that must be told. Speak your truth. Unleash the words that tremble on the edge of your lips." He nodded, a slow, deliberate motion before sinking back into his seat, the weight of the moment hanging heavily in the air. "I had no idea," he started, his voice trembling with disbelief about the title. "How could you have let this slip through your fingers? I believed you had signed it over." "You never asked," I declared, my voice unwavering, a storm brewing beneath the calm facade. "You dared to assume. How utterly unexpected." He let out a heavy sigh, the weight of the world pressing down upon him. Bianca exclaimed. "I mean, she..." "No," I interrupted, my voice slicing through the air like a knife. "Do not utter her name as if she bears the weight of it all alone. You stood by and watched as it unfolded before your very eyes." He fell into a haunting silence. At long last, the house became the pivotal piece in our high-stakes game. I erupted into laughter, a sound that pierced the silence like a thunderclap. A laugh, dark and bitter, erupted from my lips, catching even me off guard. "Is it us? Or is it you and Bianca? She is woven into the very fabric of my existence. And I am not." Silence hung heavy in the air as he remained unresponsive, a void where words should have been. I strode to the table, my heart pounding, and slammed a folder down before him, the air thick with tension. The very folder I had stealthily extracted from their impenetrable cabinet mere days prior, a silent witness to the unfolding chaos. With trembling hands, he pried it open, the air thick with anticipation. His face drained of colour, a ghostly pallor washing over him. "You broke into our home," he whispered, his voice trembling with disbelief. I edged forward, heart pounding, the air thick with tension. "My sanctuary, my fortress, my heart's refuge." He lifted his gaze to meet mine, and in that moment, I witnessed it unfold before my very eyes. The flicker of guilt ignites, a storm of realization brewing beneath the surface. Then he leaned in, his voice barely a breath. "You truly still possess it?" With trembling hands, I extracted the deed, raising it high between my fingers, a fragile piece of paper that held the weight of destiny. "Indeed, I do." In the deafening void, silence reigned supreme. Then I declared, with a voice that echoed through the silence, Unless you are prepared to surrender every ounce of what you owe me beyond mere currency, but respect as well, I will reclaim what is rightfully mine, every last fragment of it. David stood, his voice trembling with a surge of panic. No! Wait! Mum, please! Don't go! You can't leave me like this! In a moment that shattered the very foundation of our bond, I laid bare my soul, confessing that I had poured every last cent of my life savings into your grand vision. And then, with a heartless twist, you declared that this sanctuary, this home, was no longer mine to claim. On that fateful day, you stood at the crossroads of destiny and made a choice that would echo through the annals of time. He cast his gaze downward, the weight of the world pressing heavily upon him. Fear gripped my heart, a chilling shadow lurking in the depths of my soul. The investors, they craved a foundation, something unshakable, something that would silence their doubts and ignite their ambitions. I believed we could confront it another time. No, you believed I would simply vanish into thin air. Downstairs, a mere 15 minutes later, Bianca sat on the couch, her presence heavy with unspoken tension as I descended into the dimly lit room. She stood there, arms crossed, a storm brewing in her eyes. What is it? Speak. The tension hangs thick in the air, waiting for your words to shatter the silence. I locked my gaze onto hers, a silent battle of wills igniting between us. Serene, yet poised for the storm, I presented David with a choice, a pivotal moment that could alter the very fabric of our lives. Her lips curled into a sly smirk, a glint of mischief dancing in her eyes. And what, pray tell, lies beneath the surface of this seemingly simple inquiry? What secrets await to be unveiled in the shadows of this moment? The air thickens with anticipation as the question hangs, heavy with unspoken possibilities. And we shall witness the unfolding of his actions. I approached the door, each step heavy with anticipation, the air thick with unspoken tension. Then I turned back, my voice slicing through the air, delivering a single, electrifying statement that made her jaw twitch in disbelief. Oh, and when you plot your next grand heist for a house, do try to remember, leaving the blueprints on the printer is a rookie mistake you won't soon live down. Her eyes widened in disbelief, a storm of emotions swirling within her, as the weight of the moment crashed down like thunder in the night. I departed, a smile etched upon my lips, concealing the tempest within. Later that week, the phone rang, and it was David once more, his voice crackling with urgency. This time, I dared to respond. My mind has been consumed by a whirlwind of thoughts, each one more tumultuous than the last. He uttered in a hushed tone, as if the very walls could betray his secrets. Concerning the monumental act you performed on my behalf. About the transformation I underwent. I remained shrouded in silence. He pressed on, the tension thickening in the air. You placed your faith in me when the world turned its back. You bestowed upon me the entirety of your being. And I shattered that trust into a million pieces. A moment hangs in the air, thick with tension. Forgive me, for the weight of my words hangs heavy in the air, a haunting echo of regret. The words I had been yearning for, the very essence of my anticipation, finally pierced the silence like a thunderclap in the night. I stood there, a fortress of stoicism, refusing to let a single tear betray the tempest within. Forgiveness? No. It eluded me like a shadow in the night. Not yet. The tension hangs thick in the air, a palpable silence that screams for resolution. Yet, I allowed him to unleash his words. I want to make it right, he declared, his voice trembling with urgency. Not merely bound by the law. I yearn to reclaim your trust, to mend the fragile threads that once bound us together. Flowers and favours won't mend this shattered heart, I declared with a fierce intensity. With a swift and decisive motion, you bring the deal to a dramatic close. The merger. A cataclysmic collision of titans, where fortunes hang in the balance and destinies intertwine in a whirlwind of ambition and betrayal. It's done. The final curtain has fallen, and the echoes of what once was linger in the air, heavy with the weight of finality. but we are teetering on the edge of destiny. Tomorrow, the papers shall be filed, and the world will hold its breath in the glaring spotlight of public scrutiny. Silence, a deafening void that echoes through the very fabric of existence, where every heartbeat feels like a thunderous roar in the stillness. The air thickens with unspoken words, a tension so palpable it could shatter glass. In this moment, time stands still, and the world holds its breath, teetering on the brink of revelation. What secrets lie hidden in this profound hush? What truths await to be unleashed? Silence reigns, but its reign is fraught with the weight of anticipation. And then, the air thickened with tension as the unexpected unfolded before our very eyes. Very well. He made his fateful choice. 1 month later, David vanished into the night, leaving behind a storm of unanswered questions. 3 weeks later, Bianca vanished from his life, leaving nothing but echoes of betrayal in her wake. In a devastating twist of fate, the collapse of the merger sent shockwaves through their relationship, shattering it into a million irreparable pieces. The house, a silent witness to secrets untold, standing ominously against the backdrop of a stormy sky, its very walls whispering of the turmoil that brews within. I swear, I did not sell it. I held onto it, clinging fiercely, refusing to let it slip through my fingers. It lingered there, desolate and abandoned, a haunting reminder of what once was. For a fleeting moment, time hung in the balance, because, in the depths of despair, in the haunting stillness, lessons unfold, whispering truths that words could never convey. David lingered in a cramped apartment, hidden away across town, a solitary figure shrouded in the shadows of his own life. He began the tumultuous journey of reconstruction. It was more than mere commerce, it was his very soul at stake. But himself. And on that fateful morning, he appeared at my door, shattering the silence of my world, to take nothing at all, never to plead for favours. In a world where gratitude often goes unspoken, I must rise from the shadows to declare my heartfelt thanks. With a trembling hand, he extended a crumpled piece of paper, the weight of unspoken secrets hanging in the air. A bold new design emerges from the shadows, ready to captivate and astonish. In the confines of a modest dwelling, where shadows dance and secrets whisper, a tale unfolds. For me. The sketch David thrust into my hands was deceptively simple, yet it pulsed with an undercurrent of untold stories, waiting to erupt into chaos. A solitary structure, standing alone, a one-story home, whispering secrets of lives lived within its walls. Humble yet enveloping, a quiet warmth that beckons from the shadows. Vast windows, beckoning the relentless sunlight to pour in, illuminating every shadowy corner with its fierce embrace. A wraparound porch, cloaked in shadows, beckons with an eerie allure, and a garden lurks in the shadows of the back, whispering secrets of life and decay, exactly as I always envisioned it would be. It was not merely a mansion, it was a facade, a mere shadow of grandeur that whispered secrets of lost opulence. It lacked the allure of what was deemed fashionable. It was a sanctuary, a refuge from the chaos of the world outside, where every corner whispered secrets and every shadow held a story waiting to unfold. One destined for tranquility. Not a performance, but a revelation that shakes the very foundation of expectation. I know I can't undo everything, David confessed, his voice trembling as he shifted awkwardly at my doorstep, the weight of unspoken words hanging heavily in the air. Yet, deep within my soul, a desperate yearning ignites a fervent desire to begin anew. And if you grant me this chance, I yearn to construct this for you, to weave the very fabric of your dreams into reality. With my own hands, I crafted the very essence of fate, weaving a tapestry of destiny that would forever alter the course of my life. He appeared utterly exhausted, as if the weight of the world had settled upon his weary shoulders. Not in a feeble manner, yet in a manner steeped in humility. Like a weary traveller, lost in the shadows of his own choices, he finally retraced his steps, haunted by the echoes of a path he should never have taken. And perhaps, in a fleeting moment, A spark ignited a haunting glimpse of the little boy I once knew, buried beneath the weight of time and shadows. But I hesitated, the silence stretching like a taut wire, the weight of unspoken words hanging in the air. As the shadows deepened and the air thickened with tension, I found myself clutching his drawing tightly in my lap, the original deed looming ominously on the table before me. The house I was sitting in was thick with the stench of despair, a haunting reminder of what once was, like a dagger to the heart. It reverberated with every whispered betrayal Bianca had ever uttered in the shadows of my absence. Each time, David stood mute, a cowardly choice, forsaking me in my hour of need. I was acutely aware that the walls held secrets of the past, whispering tales of anguish and despair, their memories etched in every crack and crevice. That is precisely the reason I had to leave. Not even as the rightful owner, a truth so bitter it cuts deeper than any blade. The following morning, I picked up the phone and dialed a real estate agent, my heart racing with anticipation. In the shadows of memory, there lurked a quiet, honest man, Mr. Chen. A figure from my past. He had once extended his hand to me in a moment of need, years ago, forever etched in the tapestry of my life. With a voice trembling with urgency, I declared my intention to list the house. Yet, in the shadows, no grand declarations. There are no open houses. The silence echoes with the weight of unfulfilled expectations. He grasped the gravity of it all. As the clock struck the end of the week, the listing burst into existence, a dramatic unveiling that sent ripples through the air. In a moment suspended in time, I chose silence. David remained oblivious to the truth that danced just beyond his grasp. My heart raced with anticipation, a tempest of emotions swirling within me as I waited, breath held tight, to see if he would dare to pick up the phone and shatter the silence that enveloped us. If he dared to inquire about my well-being, if only he would dare to ask what tumultuous thoughts swirled within my mind. But he did not. And that deafening silence? That was the most deafening sound of all, echoing through the silence like a thunderclap, shattering the stillness and leaving hearts racing in its wake. 2 weeks had passed, shrouded in an air of suspense and uncertainty. The house has been sold, its fate sealed in a moment of unexpected finality. Silently, as if the world held its breath, a stillness enveloped the air, at a price that seems almost too good to be true. Just enough to shatter the chains of the debt Bianca had cunningly attempted to wrap around my name. Just enough to wipe the slate clean, to erase the past and start anew. And yes, it is more than enough to ignite the flames of a new beginning. In a twist of fate, I found myself ensconced in a tiny rented flat, mere steps from the park, as I bided my time, caught in the throes of anticipation. It was a scene of decay, the paint flaking away like forgotten memories, while the chair swayed precariously, a silent witness to the passage of time. Yet, it possessed a haunting essence that the other house had tragically forsaken. Serenity reigned supreme. Absolutely no masquerades of dinner parties, no eyes upon me, as if I were a forgotten relic, gathering dust in the shadowy corners of a contemporary museum. Only an oppressive silence hung in the air, thick and suffocating. As dawn breaks, the air is pierced by the haunting cries of birds, their melodies weaving a tapestry of sound that dances through the stillness of the morning. Each note hangs heavy with anticipation, a prelude to the unfolding drama of the day ahead. A kettle that erupted with a triumphant whistle, piercing the silence like a battle cry. In the stillness of despair, where echoes of anguish fade into silence, healing emerges not as a cacophony of noise, but as a haunting whisper, a void that speaks volumes. It is in this profound quiet that the soul begins to mend, shrouded in the mystery of what remains unspoken. One fateful afternoon, as I sat by the window, meticulously clipping coupons, my phone erupted with a sudden buzz, shattering the silence of my mundane task. David. The name echoes like a haunting whisper in the shadows, a portent of the storm that brews beneath the surface. What secrets lie behind those eyes? What fate awaits? The air thickens with tension, and the world holds its breath, waiting for the next move in this unfolding drama. My heart raced, caught in a tempest of uncertainty. And then, with a voice that trembled like the very earth beneath them, The answer erupted forth. "Greetings," he uttered, his voice a whisper, laden with unspoken secrets. As I ventured past the lot today, a wave of emotions surged within me, each corner whispering secrets of the past, each shadow casting a haunting reminder of what once was. It has been cleared, the air thick with tension, the weight of uncertainty lifted in an instant. What about the new house? Indeed, in a moment that will echo through the annals of time, they shattered the Earth's surface this morning, unleashing a torrent of possibilities. I lifted my eyebrows in disbelief, without a single stroke of my pen upon that paper. With my own hands, I secured the permits, pouring my resources into this endeavour. It's a revelation, a treasure, wrapped in mystery, pulsating with untold stories waiting to be unleashed. No strings attached freedom hangs in the air, a tantalizing whisper of possibilities, where every choice ignites a spark of rebellion against the mundane. Will you dare to embrace the chaos? The stage is set, and the drama unfolds with every heartbeat. A smile crept across my face, a secret shared only with the shadows around me. Ah, the echoes of the past resonate once more. He let out a low, sinister chuckle, the sound echoing ominously in the stillness of the room. Indeed, I believed it could be possible. In the unfolding saga of the next 3 months, David emerged from the shadows, appearing every few days like a spectre haunting the halls of fate. At times, amidst the chaos, blueprints emerge like whispers of fate. In the midst of chaos, there are moments when the mundane act of grocery shopping becomes a gripping saga. In a moment of desperation, he emerged like a hero from the shadows, mending the gushing pipe in my cramped rental, turning chaos into calm. In the depths of my exhaustion, he appeared like a beacon of hope, bearing a steaming cup of tea, a simple gesture that felt like a lifeline in the chaos of my weary world. He stood there, silent and unyielding, not a single request escaping his lips. And with a heart-stopping intensity, the walls that once separated us began to dissolve, piece by agonizing piece. He returned with a relic from the past, a haunting spectre I hadn't laid eyes on in what felt like an eternity. Behold his sketchbook, a treasure trove of dreams and despair, where every page whispers secrets of the soul. What mysteries lie within its worn covers? What visions await the daring eye? A world of creation, a battleground of imagination. Once, in the innocent days of childhood, he poured his soul onto pages, each drawing a whisper of dreams and untold stories, now faded into the shadows of memory. Abodes, standing tall and silent, each with secrets lurking within their walls, whispering tales of lives lived and dreams shattered. Spaces, a realm of endless possibilities, where shadows dance and whispers echo. Each corner holds secrets, each void a story waiting to unfold. What lies beyond the familiar? A haunting allure beckons, drawing us into the unknown. The tension thickens, the air crackles with anticipation. Will you dare to step into the abyss? The stage is set, the drama awaits. Individuals, each with their own stories, their own secrets, standing on the precipice of fate. Oh, how could I have ever forgotten the depths of my love for this? The passion, the intensity, it all comes rushing back like a tidal wave of emotion. He declared one fateful night, as he flipped through it with a sense of urgency, before the world was consumed by the relentless pursuit of wealth. I remained silent, my lips sealed, a storm brewing within me. I simply had no need to. As the fog of forgetfulness began to lift, a chilling realization gripped him he was on the brink of uncovering the truth of his very existence. Then, like a thunderclap in the stillness, the package arrived. A brown envelope, ominous and foreboding, lies in wait, its secrets shrouded in mystery. Just as I had preserved the original deed within its sacred confines, a void where a return address should be, an enigma wrapped in silence. Only my name, echoing in the silence, a haunting whisper of identity. In the haunting strokes of David's pen, with trembling hands I slowly pried it open, my heart racing in anticipation. In a world shrouded in uncertainty, the air thick with tension, one stands on the precipice of the unknown, heart racing, mind swirling with questions. What lies ahead? The shadows whisper secrets, but the truth remains tantalizingly out of reach. Within those walls lay 3 ominous secrets. A letter, scrawled in ink, whispers secrets of the heart. A crumpled legal document, secrets hidden within its creases, waiting to unleash chaos. A haunting image. The letter. A harbinger of fate, trembling in the shadows, its ink a dark whisper of secrets untold. What revelations lie within its folds, poised to shatter the calm of an unsuspecting heart? The air thickens with anticipation, as the weight of its words hangs heavy, ready to unleash a tempest of emotions. Will it bring salvation or despair? The moment of truth is at hand. Mother, behold, the transfer deed lies before you, a document of monumental significance. I demand you to sign it, now. How could they deny me the house? But alas, we must inscribe your name upon the new one. United in an unbreakable bond, they stood side by side, facing the tempest that threatened to tear them apart. In a tumultuous partnership, they stand as co-owners, their fates intertwined in a web of ambition and rivalry. Never again shall I possess anything that lacks the weight of your name. Forevermore. You constructed the very bedrock of my existence. You are destined to be woven into the very fabric of every wall I construct from this moment forward. And if you dare to utter the word no, I will forge ahead and construct it regardless. Yet, it shall forever remain a hollow shell, devoid of warmth and belonging, until you step inside. My eyes darted across the page, the words leaping out at me with a haunting urgency. I read the letter twice, each time unravelling a deeper layer of its chilling message. Then, with trembling hands, the photo was unveiled. It was I and David, standing on the precipice of fate, our destinies intertwined in a moment thick with tension. Perched on the creaking porch of the long-forgotten apartment, echoes of 2 decades past swirl in the air. He was but a mere child, perhaps 6 years of age, standing on the precipice of innocence, unaware of the storm that loomed ahead. In my trembling hands, a glass of lemonade shimmered, a bright yellow beacon amidst the chaos that surrounded me. Barefoot, she stepped into the abyss, each step a daring defiance against the world that sought to bind her. The ground beneath her was cold, unforgiving, yet she pressed on, a warrior in a battle against the elements, her heart pounding like a drum in the silence of the night, smiling as if the universe had finally revealed its secrets. And then, like a thunderclap, that day surged back into my mind. It was the moment that shattered the silence, the first time he dared to utter those fateful words. One day, I shall construct a magnificent house for you, dear mother. Tears streamed down my face, a torrent of emotion unleashed, not the thunderous wails of despair. Silent tears cascaded down my cheeks, each drop a haunting echo of warm memories clawing their way back to the surface, from the depths of exile. In that fateful moment, I grasped the pen, a simple instrument now charged with the weight of destiny, and with a trembling hand, the ink met the paper, sealing their fate in a moment that would echo through eternity. 1 month later, the air thick with tension, the shadows lurking, and the clock ticking ominously as fate weaves its intricate web. The house stood complete, a silent testament to the chaos that had unfolded within its walls. It was far from grand. Yet, it was nothing short of perfection. The porch swing, a testament to David's own hands, groaned softly, a haunting melody in the whispering breeze. The kitchen, a haunting echo of the past, bore witness to the ceramic cookie jar once dismissed by Bianca as mere clutter, now a silent testament to memories long gone. In the dim light of the living room, 2 photos loomed like haunting memories, each whispering secrets of a past long gone. One fateful moment captured between young David and me. And then, in a twist of fate, there was one recent event that changed everything. In a moment that would forever alter the course of our lives, we stood together, hearts racing, as we planted the very first tree beside the new house, a symbol of hope, a testament to our dreams, and the beginning of an extraordinary journey. Not a single investor in sight. All is laid bare. Only soil, a barren expanse of earth. whispering secrets of life and death beneath its surface. And then, the blinding sunlight pierced through the darkness, illuminating the secrets hidden in the shadows. And for the first time in years, the air crackled with tension, as if the very universe held its breath, waiting for the inevitable twist of fate to unfold. It was a sanctuary, a refuge where every corner whispered secrets of belonging. Yet, amidst the chaos, a final revelation loomed on the horizon. David approached me, clutching a letter, his expression a tempest of emotions. "From the depths of Bianca's heart," he declared, his voice echoing with an intensity that sent shivers down spines. With a heart of stone, it was relinquished, devoid of any trace of feeling. I seized it, with trembling hands and a racing heart, as the weight of the moment crashed down upon me like a tidal wave of fate. Delve into its depths, and with a heart heavy with unspoken words, it was folded shut, sealing away the tempest within. "She is taking legal action," I declared with an icy resolve. "She believes she has a rightful claim to a piece of the house, as if destiny itself has woven her name into its very foundation. From the merger that was destined to remain a mere whisper in the shadows of ambition." David nodded, a silent agreement hanging heavy in the air, the weight of unspoken words crackling like electricity between them. "Leave it to me. I will take care of it, by the letter of the law, in the most precise manner imaginable." "Stay out of this. It's not your battle to fight." A smile broke across my face, a fleeting moment of light in the shadows of uncertainty. "Absolutely not," I proclaimed. "Let her make her attempt." For little did she realize. Another envelope had arrived, shrouded in mystery and anticipation. A figure cloaked in shadows, holding the weight of every whispered word, every stolen glance, every conversation etched in time. A haunting presence, a keeper of secrets, forever entwined in the drama of lives intertwined. Every single email, every treacherous maneuver she attempted to conceal. But this was merely the beginning of my tumultuous journey. In a moment that felt like the calm before the storm, Bianca's lawsuit arrived, encased in a stark white envelope, a harbinger of chaos yet to unfold. All caps, every nerve on edge. She stood there, a tempest of fury and heartbreak, demanding compensation for the emotional turmoil that had shattered her world and the precious opportunities that had slipped through her fingers like grains of sand. Now that the house stood defiantly, unshackled from the chains of the cancelled merger, she boldly asserted that she had infused the very essence of her intellect into the branding of the home, and was entitled to a share of the sale. Though the house bore no trace of her name, its shadows whispered secrets of her presence. On that fateful day, David's voice pierced through the silence, echoing in my mind like a thunderclap. "She's playing a dangerous game of deception," he declared, his voice trembling with intensity. Pacing, the sound of footsteps echoing through the phone. A tension thick enough to slice. We possess the documents. Shrouded in mystery and intrigue. We possess the emails. We stand at the precipice of revelation. We possess it all. I completed it for him. And we did. The air crackled with tension, the weight of our decision hanging heavy, like a storm cloud ready to burst. In that moment, everything changed, and the world around us faded into a blur of uncertainty and anticipation. We took the plunge, hearts racing, knowing there was no turning back. What Bianca failed to comprehend was that I had not merely been a naive mother, tending to flowers and letting the days slip away in a haze of monotony. After nearly 2 decades of relentless toil in the hallowed halls of a legal office, I finally stepped away from the grind, leaving behind a legacy etched in the annals of justice. Silently, as if the world held its breath. With a fierce sense of pride, submitting the fateful documents, delving into the labyrinth of contracts, witnessing the desperate attempts of individuals to contort the truth, revealing the gaping fissures in their narratives. I had witnessed this treacherous dance of manipulation before, a sinister play unfolding in the shadows. Never in my wildest dreams did I imagine betrayal would emerge from the very woman who vowed to love my son. In that moment of revelation, clarity struck like lightning, illuminating the shadows of my past. I had learned, Oh, how I had learned, and the weight of that knowledge was both a burden and a liberation. 2 weeks later, the clock ticked ominously, each second echoing the weight of unspoken truths and unresolved tensions. The day of reckoning has arrived. The hearing unfolded without a hint of drama. In a dimly lit courtroom, tension hangs thick in the air, every whisper echoing like a thunderclap. The stakes are high, and the atmosphere crackles with unspoken secrets. A judge, cloaked in authority, looms over the courtroom, his gaze piercing through the silence, ready to deliver a verdict that will echo through the lives of all present, and a towering stack of documents, looming ominously, dwarfing even my purse. Bianca strode into the room, her dark blue suit clinging to her like a second skin, while her heels, dangerously sharp, seemed poised to pierce through the very fabric of reality itself. She perched next to a lawyer whose eyes drooped like heavy curtains, teetering on the edge of slumber. David and I arrived, armed with plans and secrets, ready to face whatever storm awaited us. We possessed it all. A treasure trove of dreams and desires, shimmering in the light of our shared existence. The act that clung to my identity, a haunting reminder of choices made and paths taken. The emails she penned, plotting my removal, dripped with betrayal. The floor plans she had cunningly pilfered, basking in the glory of credit that was never hers to claim. The judge's eyes scanned the documents, each word a dagger, each pause a thunderclap in the silence of the courtroom. He cast aside his glasses, and with a voice that resonated like a haunting melody, uttered 5 words that eclipsed the very essence of music itself. This case stands utterly devoid of merit, a hollow echo in the chambers of justice. Bianca's eyes widened in disbelief. Then, in a moment that felt like an eternity, she blinked again. I contributed, she declared, her voice trembling with intensity. My involvement is impossible to overlook. I can, the judge declared, his voice slicing through the tension like a knife. For the record, you were never part of this twisted tale, bound by the chains of legality. In that house, you were a mere ghost, haunting the halls of a life that belonged to no one but the shadows of your past. This is not merely a question of perspective. It is an undeniable truth, a stark reality that looms before us. The gavel crashed down, echoing through the tense silence of the courtroom, and thus it was sealed an ending that echoed through the silence, leaving a void that could never be filled. Bianca erupted from the room, a tempest of fury and heartbreak, her footsteps echoing like thunder in the silence left behind. No tears. Only silence hangs heavy in the air, a chilling reminder of what once was. Unleashed rage. Like a queen, her crown torn away, left to face the world in utter despair. David averted his gaze, the weight of unspoken words hanging heavily in the air between them. Not a single time. He suddenly pivoted, his eyes glinting with intensity, and leaned in to whisper, the air thick with unspoken tension. At long last, the curtain falls. 1 month later, spring erupted with the fervour of a long-awaited confession, its blossoms bursting forth as if to atone for the harshness of winter. Soft pink petals cascade from the tree, a haunting reminder of the bond David and I forged in the soil of our shared dreams. The porch groaned, awakening from its slumber, as if the very wood itself was whispering secrets long buried in the shadows. Amidst the haunting whispers of the wind, the birds take flight, their cries echoing through the air. Laughter erupts from the neighbours' children, their joyous shouts piercing the stillness as they recklessly send a ball tumbling into our yard, a moment of innocent chaos in a world teetering on the edge of silence. At long last, tranquillity had descended upon the land, a fragile veil draped over the chaos that once reigned. The echoes of turmoil faded, leaving only a haunting silence in their wake. But more than that, a fierce and unyielding dignity. Not the kind of dignity paraded in grand speeches, but the raw, unyielding strength that arises when you emerge from the ashes of something that should have shattered you. And yet, it did not happen. David, once a fleeting shadow in my life, now lingered longer, weaving moments into the fabric of our shared existence. Not driven by guilt, yet, from the abyss of something far more profound: honor, a sacred bond that demands reverence. In a world where dreams often fade, he embarked on a daring mission, crafting intimate sanctuaries for single mothers and the wise elders of our society. Nothing extravagant. In a world where beauty often eludes the grasp of the ordinary, there existed hidden gems, affordable sanctuaries that wrapped their arms around the weary and the lost, igniting a spark of recognition in their souls. Here, amidst the chaos, people found not just a place, but a reflection of their very essence, a testament to their existence. They felt seen, truly seen, in these breathtaking havens. And every time someone dared to inquire about the genesis of his journey, he would reply, "I made every mistake a son could possibly make." In that harrowing moment, a chilling realization gripped my soul. I recalled the architect of my very existence. On a seemingly tranquil afternoon, the air hung heavy with unspoken tension. He loomed beside me on the porch, the glass of lemonade trembling in his grip, as if it too felt the weight of the moment. "Mother?" he declared, his voice trembling with the weight of unspoken truths. "If only you hadn't clung to that deed." Oh, the weight of that knowledge hangs heavy in the air, a truth that reverberates through the silence, echoing with the intensity of 1,000 unspoken words. I nodded, the weight of the moment crashing down upon me like a thunderous storm, each heartbeat echoing the gravity of my decision. "You rescued me from the abyss." A smile crept across my face, a flicker of light in the shadows of uncertainty. "You have emerged from the depths, a survivor against all odds." "What is this?" I demanded. To the new house, where secrets linger in the shadows and every creak of the floorboards whispers tales untold. Only your name graces the deed, a solitary testament to ownership, a stark declaration of power and possession. I ensured it with unwavering certainty. My eyes fluttered open, a moment suspended in time. Tears hung precariously at the edge, but this time they bore no pain. I embraced him tightly, the weight of the moment crashing down around us. And for the first time in years, the air crackled with a revelation. Home was no longer merely a structure, but a sanctuary of the soul. It was this very moment, the air thick with tension, as fate hung in the balance. In a heart-stopping climax, the final lines echo through the air, laden with tension and unspoken truths, leaving the audience breathless and yearning for resolution. In a heart-wrenching twist of fate, I poured every last penny of my life savings into the fragile dream of my son. And for a time, I believed I had lost it all, plunged into the depths of despair. But now, the truth has clawed its way into the light. Some dreams shatter into a million pieces before they ever have the chance to breathe life. And in the most unexpected moments, it is the fragments that forge an unbreakable force.